Hello everyone. I'd like to take you on a little journey today, a journey through the wild beauty of Alaska. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a place where the mountains kiss the clouds, where glaciers shine like silver under the sun, and where every breath feels like the freshest air you've ever taken in. That's Alaska. There's something almost magical about the way nature feels there. The silence isn't empty. It's full of whispers from the trees, the gentle flow of rivers, and the calls of eagles soaring above. When you stand beside a glacier or look out over endless pine forests, you can't help but feel small, but in the most comforting way. It reminds you that nature is powerful and yet so peaceful. Walking along a quiet trail, you might see wildflowers scattered like little gems across the ground. Or watch a moose grazing gracefully in the distance. The beauty is untamed, but it never feels harsh. It feels calming, like the land itself is inviting you to slow down, breathe deeply, and just be. The northern lights are maybe the most breathtaking gift of all. Green and purple ribbons dancing across the night sky, it feels like the universe is painting just for you. It's impossible not to fall in love with the wonder of it. Alaska teaches us something simple but profound. Peace doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes it's just in the rhythm of waves on a rocky shore or the quiet crunch of snow beneath your boots. It's a reminder to let go, to let nature carry away the noise, and to simply enjoy the moment. So if your heart ever feels heavy or your mind too busy, picture Alaska wild, beautiful, and endlessly soothing. A place where you can find yourself by losing yourself in nature. Alaska's landscapes are a breathtaking canvas of nature's finest work, vast and unspoiled, stretching out in every direction like an endless masterpiece. Towering mountains dominate the horizon, their snow-capped peaks standing proudly against the sky, reminding anyone who gazes upon them just how grand the earth can be. The ranges seem alive, as if they shift and change with the light, glowing pink and gold at sunrise, deep blue and silver at dusk. Their majesty feels eternal, untouched by time, a reminder of how small and delicate human life is compared to the immense beauty of the natural world. Beneath these colossal peaks, glaciers snake their way down valleys, their ice shimmering like crystal under the sun, a kaleidoscope of whites, blues, and silvers that sparkle as if the land itself has been dusted with diamonds. Each glacier holds a sense of mystery, frozen rivers that tell stories from thousands of years ago, whispering secrets of the Earth's history in their deep crevices and icy layers. As you wander through the forests at the base of these mountains, the contrast is striking. Tall spruce and pine trees rise up like guardians of the land, their dark green needles swaying gently in the wind. The forest floor is rich with moss, soft underfoot, and dotted with wild mushrooms and delicate plants that thrive in the shade. Streams rush through these woods, their water clear and cold, tumbling over smooth stones and filling the air with the refreshing sound of movement. In spring and summer, wildflowers paint the meadows with bursts of color: lavender lupines, fiery red paintbrushes, and sunny yellow buttercups. They bloom with such freedom that it seems as though the land is celebrating its own beauty, scattering colors as gifts to anyone who pauses to look. Beyond the forests and meadows lie the fjords and coastlines, where cliffs rise dramatically from the ocean, carved over centuries by ice and water. The deep blue sea stretches out endlessly, meeting the sky at a horizon that feels both distant and close. Glacial ice occasionally drifts into the bays, floating serenely, glowing with an otherworldly light as though lit from within. Waves lap gently against the rocky shorelines, their rhythm calming and steady, reminding you of the eternal balance between land and sea. Seals rest lazily on icebergs, while seabirds wheel overhead, their calls echoing against the cliffs. The blend of mountains, water, and sky creates a landscape that feels almost dreamlike, so pure and untouched that it stirs something deep within your heart. When winter arrives, Alaska transforms into a world of white. Snow blankets the valleys and ridges, softening the sharp edges of the land and turning everything into a peaceful wonderland. The air grows crisp and each breath feels sharp yet invigorating. Frozen rivers gleam under the pale sunlight, and the silence of the snowy world creates an almost sacred calm. The mountains become even more imposing, wrapped in their heavy cloaks of snow, and the glaciers glow an even deeper shade of blue beneath the frosty light. In this season, the land feels hushed, as though it is resting, waiting for the return of spring's bloom. And yet, no matter the season, Alaska's landscapes never lose their sense of grandeur. Even in the soft green of summer, where endless daylight stretches across the land, the mountains and glaciers hold their same proud stance. In autumn, golden leaves shimmer in the brief warmth of the sun, carpeting the forest floor and reflecting like fire in the rivers and lakes. The transitions between seasons are seamless, each one adding another layer to the already breathtaking scenery, another way for the land to reveal its many faces. The beauty of Alaska's landscapes lies not only in their size and strength, but in the way they make you feel. They envelop you, they quiet your thoughts, and they offer a kind of peace that can only come from being surrounded by something so natural, so unaltered, and so timeless. Every ridge, every glacier, every tree seems to carry its own quiet wisdom, as if the land itself has been patiently waiting for you to arrive and see it with open eyes. It is beauty that asks for nothing, beauty that simply exists, wild and free. The silence of Alaska is unlike any other silence, because it is never empty or hollow, but filled with a delicate symphony of nature's own making. Standing in the heart of this wilderness, the absence of human noise feels striking at first, as though the world has paused, yet soon it becomes clear that the quiet is alive. The whisper of the wind moves through the trees, weaving between branches and carrying with it the scent of pine and earth. It dances lightly over the surface of rivers and lakes, creating ripples that sparkle under the sunlight. This wind seems gentle and watchful, as though it is the voice of the land itself, speaking softly, reminding you of its timeless presence. In the stillness, the sound of rushing streams becomes music. The water splashes over rocks and pebbles, tumbling endlessly in rhythms that soothe the spirit. Sometimes it is a quiet trickle, soft enough to blend into the silence, and other times it is bold and clear, echoing through valleys and forest groves. Above, the sky carries the calls of eagles circling high, their wings slicing through the air with effortless strength. Their cries are sharp, almost haunting, cutting through the calm and reminding you of the wild heart that beats across the land. In the forests, songbirds fill the silence with chirps and trills, each note delicate and fleeting. They hide among the branches, hopping from twig to twig, their tiny voices layering over the steady hum of life. Every sound feels balanced, as though the silence knows exactly how much to allow, never overwhelming, never too little. Even the soft rustle of leaves underfoot as you walk feels like part of the conversation, a reminder that you are a guest in this quiet sanctuary. The silence stretches wide across open spaces where tundra and meadows roll into the distance. Here the air feels endless, and the only sound is the steady whisper of the breeze brushing across the grasses. The vastness creates a quiet so deep that you almost hear your own heartbeat, steady and grounding. It brings an awareness of yourself, not in a loud or self-focused way, but as part of the stillness, part of the land. The quiet reaches its fullest expression in the icy expanses where glaciers dominate. Standing near the edge of such frozen giants, the silence is pierced only occasionally by the low rumble of ice shifting, cracking, or releasing chunks into the water. Each sound feels monumental, as if the earth itself is breathing, pausing, and then exhaling with a groan. Between these moments, there is stillness so profound that even the air feels frozen in place, holding a kind of sacred calm. In the coastal regions, the silence has its own character. It is not absolute, but softened by the gentle rhythm of the ocean. Waves roll and retreat with a patient persistence, their sound steady and soothing, blending into the quiet rather than breaking it. The cries of seabirds circle through the air, but they are distant, faint, echoing against cliffs and fading into the horizon. The coast holds a hush that mingles with the salt of the sea and the cool breath of the tide, creating an atmosphere that feels eternal. It is silence shaped by movement, a balance of stillness and flow, where every sound serves to highlight how quiet the world can be. In winter, the silence deepens even further. Snow covers the land in a thick blanket, absorbing sound and softening every edge. The crunch beneath boots is one of the few reminders of movement, a crisp sound that punctuates the otherwise complete hush. Branches weighed down with snow sway gently, and sometimes a soft creak escapes as the wood adjusts to the weight, echoing faintly through the cold air. The world feels suspended as though held in a gentle pause, with only the occasional call of an animal breaking through. This silence is not heavy, but peaceful, wrapping everything in a sense of safety and calm. It makes the land feel as though it is resting, breathing slowly, and inviting you to do the same. The most remarkable part of Alaska's silence is the way it makes even the smallest sounds feel magnified and meaningful. The flutter of a bird's wings, the snap of a twig underfoot, the splash of a fish leaping in a lake, all stand out clearly like individual notes in a song. Instead of overwhelming, these sounds bring comfort, reminding you that life continues quietly all around. The silence frames them, allows them to exist with clarity, and gives them space to be heard. In this way, Alaska's quiet is never loneliness. It is fullness, a presence of life and balance that asks for nothing but awareness. Alaska's wilderness is alive with creatures that move gracefully through its vast landscapes, each one adding its own rhythm and presence to the natural world. The sight of a moose grazing quietly among tall grasses is both humbling and enchanting. Their size is immense, yet their movements carry a softness that feels almost delicate. Watching them lift their heads slowly, ears twitching at the faintest sound, creates a sense of stillness, as if the world pauses to admire them. In the early morning light, when mist rises from the ground, their silhouettes stand tall and proud, blending into the quiet beauty of the land around them. Calves often stay close to their mothers, curious yet cautious, exploring the meadows with wide-eyed wonder. Each step they take feels careful and measured, a gentle reminder of the harmony between animal and land. Eagles soar above these same meadows, their wings stretching wide across the open sky. Their presence commands attention not because they demand it, but because their elegance makes it impossible to look away. They glide effortlessly, circling high over rivers where salmon move with the current, waiting for the perfect moment to dive. Their sharp eyes miss nothing, scanning the ground and water below with a focus that feels both fierce and majestic. The cry of an eagle echoes through the air, sharp and clear, cutting across the silence of valleys and ridges. It is a sound that lingers, one that carries the wild spirit of Alaska in a single call. To see one perched on a branch, feathers ruffled by the wind, is to glimpse a creature perfectly at home in the vastness of the land. Scattered across open fields and forest edges, wildflowers bloom in bright bursts of color, delicate but determined. They are not animals, yet their presence feels alive, bringing vibrancy to the rugged landscape. Tiny blossoms cling to rocky slopes, while others stretch tall in open meadows, swaying gently with the breeze. Their colors seem almost painted by hand, deep purples, fiery reds, soft yellows, and pure white, each one shining against the backdrop of mountains and sky. Together they create carpets of beauty, patches of joy that surprise you at every turn. Even in the most remote places, these flowers appear as though nature herself has taken the time to decorate, reminding you that life flourishes in every corner of the wild. Along riverbanks, bears can sometimes be seen, their strong frames moving with surprising quietness. They wade into the water, focused and patient, watching the salmon swim. The splash of a catch, the shimmer of scales in the sunlight, and the power in their movements all blend into a scene that feels ancient, as if unchanged for countless generations. Cubs often follow closely, mimicking every motion, tumbling awkwardly as they learn. Though powerful, the bears in these moments seem part of the same calm rhythm that governs the rivers and trees. Their presence is not frightening but awe-inspiring, a reminder of the raw and untamed spirit that thrives here. Caribou move across the tundra in herds, their silhouettes stretching into the distance like a flowing river of life. Their antlers rise high, intricate, and beautiful, catching the light as they walk. The sound of their hooves across the ground creates a soft beat, a steady rhythm that feels like nature's own drum. They travel with purpose, yet there is no rush, only a quiet endurance that matches the pace of the land itself. Watching them move together across wide, open spaces gives a sense of connection, a reminder that even in such vastness, life finds community and companionship. Seals and sea otters bring liveliness to the coastal waters, resting on ice floes or floating playfully in the gentle waves. The way otters hold hands while drifting, keeping one another close, feels tender and heartwarming. They dive and surface with curious eyes, seemingly unbothered by the world around them, content to exist in the moment. Seals lounge in the sun, occasionally lifting their heads to glance around before settling back into stillness. These creatures carry an ease that matches the rhythm of the sea, their lives intertwined with the tides and currents. Everywhere in Alaska, wildlife thrives alongside the beauty of the land, each creature shaping the character of the place. From the tiniest songbird flitting through branches to the immense presence of a moose standing quietly in a meadow, each adds its own note to the symphony of the wild. Together they create a world that is alive in every corner, where beauty is not just in the landscape, but in the living beings that move through it, breathing, resting, and continuing the timeless story of nature. The northern lights in Alaska feel like a gift from the sky, a dance of color and light that transforms the night into something otherworldly. When the air grows still and the stars begin to shine, the first hint of green appears on the horizon, faint and delicate, like a whisper across the darkness. Slowly it begins to grow, stretching upward in long ribbons, swirling and shifting as though the heavens themselves are painting. The green deepens, sometimes mingling with soft purples and rare flashes of pink, spreading across the vast sky in waves of motion. The colors do not stand still, they ripple and twist, bending like silk caught in the wind, moving so gracefully that it feels as though they are alive. Watching them, it is impossible not to feel drawn into their rhythm, eyes lifted in awe, following every curve and shimmer. The glow of the aurora transforms the landscape below, washing snow, covered trees and frozen rivers in soft hues of green. Shadows lengthen and shift as the lights flicker and dance, creating a world that feels enchanted. In the quiet of night, with nothing but the sound of your own breath in the cold air, the lights seem almost close enough to touch, as if they are reaching down from the sky to meet you. Each flicker feels like a conversation between earth and sky, silent yet full of meaning, a reminder of the unseen forces that move above. The mountains stand as silent witnesses, their snowy peaks bathed in shimmering light, reflecting back the colors in faint glows that make the entire world feel alive. Sometimes the aurora comes suddenly, bursting across the sky without warning, filling the darkness with curtains of brilliant green that shift so quickly you can hardly follow them. Other times it appears slowly, a gentle arc that grows brighter and wider until the entire horizon is alive with color. The unpredictability of it adds to the wonder, because you never know what shape it will take, how strong it will glow, or how long it will last. The waiting becomes part of the experience, standing beneath the cold night sky with eyes searching, heart hopeful, until the first faint streak appears and the magic begins. The way the lights move feels like a dance choreographed by nature itself, graceful and free, each moment different from the last. Some nights they spiral in long ribbons that twist and curl overhead, stretching from horizon to horizon. Other nights they shimmer gently, a soft glow that hovers and waves like a veil floating in the breeze. When they are at their brightest, they pulse and flicker, casting the land in shifting light that moves with the rhythm of the sky. No two displays are ever the same, each one unique, fleeting, and unforgettable. The cold of the night air only heightens the experience. Standing wrapped in layers of warmth, you can feel the crisp bite of winter against your skin as you tilt your head back to watch the sky. The silence around you seems deeper, broken only by the occasional rustle of the wind or the soft crunch of snow underfoot. Every sense is awake, the brightness against the dark, the stillness of the land, the chill of the air, all combining to make the moment feel vivid and real, yet somehow dreamlike at the same time. The longer you watch, the more the lights shift and change, as though the sky is endlessly creating, never repeating itself, always offering something new. Reflections of the aurora dance on frozen lakes, glowing green and purple across the icy surface. The stillness of the water amplifies the beauty, mirroring the movement above so that it feels as though the world has doubled, sky and earth both alive with light. Looking into these reflections feels almost like gazing into another realm, a place where time slows and the ordinary world fades away. In these moments the lights seem eternal, stretching across both heaven and earth, connecting them in a single sweeping gesture of beauty. The northern lights carry with them a feeling that is difficult to describe, a mix of wonder, peace, and awe. They appear without sound, yet their presence fills the night completely. They remind you of how vast the universe is, how much exists beyond what the eye usually sees. Watching them unfold above Alaska's wild landscapes, it feels as though the sky itself is alive, speaking in colors instead of words, creating beauty that lingers long after the lights fade back into darkness. Alaska holds a kind of calm that is rare in the world, a calm that is not created, discovered, waiting patiently in the quiet rhythm of nature. The land itself seems to invite anyone who walks through it to let go of heavy thoughts and to breathe more slowly, to notice the way life unfolds without hurry. There is no demand to move quickly here, no pressure to keep up with noise or constant motion. Instead, there is a gentle reminder in every glacier, every forest, every stretch of tundra, that peace can be found simply by existing in the moment. The vastness of the landscape is not intimidating but comforting, like a wide open embrace, giving space to thoughts that feel too crowded elsewhere. Standing in such spaces brings an awareness of how small human worries truly are compared to the timeless flow of rivers and the steady rise of mountains. The journey into Alaska's calm begins with the stillness of its mornings. When the sun first brushes the tops of snowy peaks with pale gold light, the world feels hushed as though it is slowly waking. The air is cool and crisp, carrying the scent of pine and earth, and even the faintest sound seems gentle in this softness. The cry of a bird in the distance or the rustle of leaves becomes part of the quiet rather than a disruption of it. These mornings carry a sense of promise, a feeling that the day ahead will unfold naturally without rush, guided by the slow rhythm of nature itself. It is in these moments that the calm of Alaska feels most personal, settling into the heart like a quiet reassurance. Walking through the forests, the calm deepens with every step. The trees stand tall and steady, their branches weaving a canopy that filters light into delicate patterns on the ground. The sound of a nearby stream flows steadily, the water moving with patience, unhurried and free. The path feels endless but never overwhelming because the journey itself becomes enough. With each breath of cool air, with each glimpse of wildflowers scattered between roots, the land seems to whisper that stillness is not empty but full of life. In the presence of such calm, thoughts that once felt loud begin to fade, replaced by the simple awareness of being present, of existing in harmony with what surrounds you. At the edge of lakes and rivers, the calm takes on another form. The surface of the water mirrors the sky, reflecting mountains and clouds in perfect stillness, broken only by the occasional ripple of a fish or the gentle stir of wind. Sitting beside the water feels like entering into a conversation with silence itself, one that asks for no words, only presence. The mind begins to settle, drawn into the rhythm of the gentle waves, and in that settling comes a sense of clarity. Worries that once seemed tangled begin to loosen, and what remains is a feeling of being connected both to the earth and to oneself. When the northern lights appear in the night sky, the calm becomes awe. Though the colors move and shift with energy, there is nothing frantic about them. Their motion feels like a lullaby, slow and graceful, a reminder that beauty does not need to be loud to be powerful. Watching them, the heart grows quiet and the mind feels lighter, carried by the endless sweep of color. It is not only the sight that creates this feeling, but the silence surrounding it, the vast stillness of the land under a sky alive with light. The calm here is not simply the absence of sound, but the presence of something greater, something that holds and soothes at the same time. Every season in Alaska offers its own version of calm. In summer, endless daylight stretches across the land, and the gentle hum of life continues under a sky that never seems to rest. In autumn, the turning of leaves brings a golden hush to the forests, their colors glowing softly in the fading sun. Winter blank, it's the land in snow, muffling every sound and creating a stillness that feels protective, as though the world is wrapped in peace. In spring, the return of blossoms and flowing rivers carries a quiet joy, a calm born from renewal. Each season layers another way of finding peace, another invitation to pause and breathe. To lose yourself in Alaska is to step into this calm fully, to let the vastness absorb the noise of the outside world. It is to feel the grounding weight of mountains that have stood for ages, the flowing patience of rivers that carve their paths without hurry, and the soft persistence of wildflowers blooming even in the harshest places. The calm here is not fragile but strong, steady enough to hold the weight of restless minds and offer them release. It shows that peace does not have to be sought in far-off dreams, but can be found in the steady presence of the earth itself, in the beauty of a land that asks nothing but awareness.